Hi guys, Craig here. Welcome back to the channel. Is this the one you've all been waiting for? Who knows? This is the KickAss 300 watt panel, and as usual I'm going to test it against Old Faithful 80 watts and the Thunder 240 watts. So you got to remember, this is $750. This was $180 delivered. I do believe the KickAss is on special at the moment for $649, $650. I don't know whether that includes freight or not. This was $180 delivered off eBay, and as you know, I've had Old Faithful for a million years, and I have no idea how much it cost me. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to test them. I've whacked them on the Atom battery, and I've got them through my test rig here through the 150, which you've seen it all before. Similar conditions actually than the previous test. Remember, Old Faithful, iTech World and the Thunder. So what I've done is I've got Old Faithful connected in at the moment, and that's putting out 65 watts, we'll call it right now. So 65, 66 watts. So Old Faithful will go 65 watt. Okay, now while we're doing that, I've got the Thunder plugged into the Joy meter. Let's do a test on that. 185 watt. Now remember, that produced 171 watt last time. So yeah, obviously conditions are a little bit better. So 185 watt. Okay, let's plug the Thunder in to the solar charge controller. While that's ramping up, we'll plug Old Faithful into the Joy. That'll take a minute or so to find its maximum power point. Nothing unusual about that. Let's have a look here. Turn the backlight on. 73 watts. So it's actually performing really well today. So 73 watt. Interesting, I've also got myself an irradiance meter, and I thought that may take a little bit of the guesswork out of things. I'll put that out here, and what I'll do is I'll just lay it on the angle of the panel, and there you go. We're getting 910 watts per square meter, and we know Australian standards test to 1,000 watts per square meter under standard test conditions. So for me, I think that's good enough. Let's put it here. It's a bit less, 894. Now that would be because the angle's a bit lower, and in fairness, I've actually lifted the panel up. You can see I put it on some blocks to try and get a bit more tilt out of it. And I did say in my previous test, I wasn't happy that the legs are too short. So that's a bit of an issue. And while I'm out here, one of the legs is actually already broken off. Yeah, it fell off. It's pop riveted on from the underside there. But, you know, I've only used it 3, 4, 5 times, and that panel is now, you know, the leg's broken off. So yeah, not a good start. Let's stick it on here. 908, and that's a similar angle. You'll have to concede I've put the legs all the way back, and I've got 905 watt. Now interesting, if I pop these legs up, bear with me, sorry about the camera work, you can see we go straight up to 935 watt. And I'm sure I could play with that angle a little bit more and actually nearly get what it's rated under standard test conditions, which is 1,000 watts per square meter. But hey, we're working with what we've got, so let's roll with it. Okay, put that back down there. All right, so I've got the Thunder now plugged in, and we're getting 195 watt out of the Thunder. So Thunder on the MPPT, 195 watt. All right, let's unplug the Thunder. Let's plug in the KickAss into the MPPT. For shits and giggles, we'll unplug Old Faithful, and we'll plug the Thunder into the Joy. And while that's finding its maximum power point, let's have a look what we get out of this. 193 watt. So that's actually gone up on the Joy. So, okay, we'll make a note of that. 193 watt. So the reason that would have gone up, obviously, is because I tilted the legs up. So it's getting a better angle. I can't really tilt the legs up anymore on the KickAss panel without propping it up, you know, even further. And one leg's already fallen off. So what do? Okay, so KickAss, it's in, it's running. Are we ready? 265 watt. Now it's varying and changing because it's still finding its maximum MPPT. 266 watt, 267. I'm going to call it 267 watt. 267. Okay. Right, it's settled at 267. I don't think we can get an argument out of that. Just back on the irradiance meter, remember 267 watt standard test conditions dictate 1000 watt per square meter. And here we go, guys, 970, let's be fair to it, 970. So we're close enough to that. Real world conditions, this panel is not going to put out much more. I know it will slightly if I tilt it up. Okay, back, 268 watt, it's holding nice. Let's unplug the Thunder. Let's plug in the KickAss to the Joy and let's see what we get. Run the test. 270.6 watt. 270.6. Now there you go, guys. I don't know that you can argue that. On the MPPT, 267 watt. Joy, 270 watt. iTech World, 300 watt. Remember, the best I could get was between 163 and 168 watts. We all know that doesn't work. Guys, I hate to admit it, the KickAss 300 watt panel works. It's expensive, but you do get what you pay for. Now, in my opinion, which is easier to put out? The Thunder is definitely easier to put out. It's 3 panels instead of 4. The legs are better. You can get that maximum tilt and you can get more out of the panel. Let's just keep going with the test. Let's angle it up even further. Bear with me with the camera work. Okay, so you can see how much now I've tilted that up, right? Massively so. I may have gone too far, but who knows? Let's just come back in. KickAss, how's it going? Unplug it. Thunder, back into the MPPT. While that's finding its maximum power point, let's grab the KickAss again and put it onto the Joy meter. I don't know how many times I can do this. It's not really going to change. 265.5. 265.5. You know, it's thereabouts, isn't it? It's close enough. It's good enough. All right. We've got the KickAss back in. Let it find its maximum power point. I'm sorry, that's the Thunder, not the KickAss. I'm going too quick for myself. Now it's going to muck around and find the maximum power point. As you can see, Thunder plugged in the MPT, KickAss is plugged in here. 261. I'm happy with that. I'm going to run with the 265 watt and call that a pass. I'll leave it up to you guys. But as I said, the leg's fallen off, so it's already a warranty claim. Let's see whether they honour that. You know, it's only a couple of pop rivets. I could probably do it myself, but should I have to do it myself with a 750 watt panel? Well, the answer is obviously no. I shouldn't have to do it. I shouldn't have to play and fix this panel up because the legs are falling off it after I've used it 3 times. But in saying that, it still works. 180 bucks, can't beat it. Hey, and the legs haven't fallen off. Thanks, guys. Stay tuned. I hope you liked it. So I'm back with the KickAss. I've gone off and done a couple of things, and I've just been watching it come up and down with the sun coming out of the clouds, as you can see. So you're seeing this as obviously as I'm seeing it. As the sun comes out, 306 watts, 309, 10. It peaked just a little minute ago at over 320 watts. I think it was 324 watts, guys. That's just amazing. So just so everybody can see what it's doing. And this is the sun in and out of the clouds. You know, I keep saying it, but I just want to make people clear that that's what it is. People always ask about amps as well. You've got amps down here. So we've got 21 amps, 22 amps. Look at that, 23.3 amps, 327 watt, guys. I think that's a record. You know, that's definitely a winner. And if I do the same thing on the Thunder, it'll do exactly the same thing. I know it will. And there's no point doing it. But I thought that was an interesting one, coming back to it with the sun coming in and out. And you can see how that actually works. This panel is consistent. You know, it does obviously outperform the iTech, which, you know, I could only get about 168, 163 watts out of it at its claimed 300. You know, absolute joke. You know, even in shadowy, cloudy conditions, this one's outperforming it without even trying. So there you go, guys. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to call it a winner. Over 300 watt, you know, it is just amazing from that panel. That said, it is $750, guys. So if you can afford it, hey, go for it.